Welcome back, Susie.
Hi.
So, based on the things that you expressed to me last week in our session, I have a book here of diagnoses that I want you to take a look at with me, um, just to kind of put into context the things that you told me last week, and I want to see if you agree with my diagnosis. Okay, so here it tells me that a poor appetite or overeating. And based on what you told me about your, not eating in school, not wanting to eat in school or at home, I would say that that applies to you. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, because I'm not really ever hungry for my lunch
Okay.
or dinner.
Okay, so that one applies to you. Insomnia or hypersomnia, do you know what those are?
What's hypersomnia?
Hypersomnia is when you are overly tired. So insomnia is when you can't sleep, and hypersomnia is when you sleep all the time. And based on what you were telling me last week, I would say that you have more hypersomnia in that you're feeling tired during school, and you don't feel the urge to get out of bed even when your mom is talking to you or somebody's on the phone with you. So I would say that that would be more you. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, because I'm always tired,
Okay.
no matter what I try to do.
Okay. All right. Also, it says here low energy or fatigue. And the things that you were telling me last week, I would consider low energy or fatigue because you were telling me that, like I said, you're in school. It's hard for you to concentrate. You feel tired. You don't always feel like you have a ton of energy. Would you agree with those things?
Yeah, because I'm tired a lot and don't have energy at soccer practice.
Okay. And then also, poor concentration or difficulty making decisions. I wouldn't say so much that you have difficulty making decisions, but you have poor concentration in school due to that tiredness. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Okay. Also, the low self esteem part of this, I sort of saw it in you last week, and I know you had even verbalized when you're in soccer practice, you feel like the team doesn't really want you there. So, would you agree with the low self esteem?
Yeah, but I just think that's how I am.
Okay. Okay, and we'll talk more about that. And then the last one here is feelings of hopelessness. And I saw some signs of hopelessness in you from last week. Things that you were saying, like you just don't see, things getting better, or that the people in school want you to be there, things like that. So, would you agree with that?
Yeah, because ever since my path's not been around, I kind of don't have hope.
Okay. So, those are the 6 criteria for what is called persistent depressive disorder. And then there's also things called specifiers. So there's just different subcategories that if you show different signs, you would be considered for one of these specifiers. So with you, Susie, I'm seeing more of it's called anxious distress, and I have it here. It is it's defined as the presence of at least 2 of the following symptoms during the majority of days. And the 2 that I see in you, and I only see 2, are difficulty concentrating because of worry. And I say that because you told me that in school you have a hard time concentrating because you're a lot of times worried about your father passing away.
Yeah.
So that's one of them. And then the other one is fear that something awful might happen. And that goes right along with the fear that you have about your father passing away. So does all of this sound accurate to you as far as the diagnosis goes?
Yeah, I think I would agree with you.
Okay. All right, so that's what I was thinking as well. So it's called persistent depressive disorder. And then it would be with the specifier anxious distress. Okay. Do you have any questions about that?
No, just learning more about it.
Okay, and we can talk more about it, and I can send you home with some information about it. You can share it with your family, and discuss it with them too, so that you can make them aware of it as well.
Okay.
All right? So, Susie, is there anything that has happened since last week that you want to talk about?
Um, well, I had a soccer game this past weekend and I kind of felt hopeless.
You felt hopeless.
Yeah.
So, Susie, with this diagnosis, a therapy that a lot of therapists use with depressed individuals is called CBT. It's cognitive behavioral therapy. And if you're willing, I would like to try a technique with you today with that therapy.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so what I want you to do is I'm going to give you about 5 minutes to journal. And you had mentioned you had a soccer game that you weren't very happy about. So I'm going to give you about 5 minutes to journal, and I just want you to write down the thoughts that you had during that game or the thoughts that you had around that game.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Okay.
All right, Susie, so what types of things did you write in your journal?
I put that my coach doesn't get me to play first all the time.
Okay.
I put that I don't feel like I'm good enough for the team.
All right.
I want to make my team happy. And I want my teammates to like me.
Okay. So the one that sticks out to me, Susie, is I'm not good enough. Tell me about that.
I just feel like I'm not good enough because sometimes I do score and sometimes I don't score. And I just don't score all the time.
Okay. So part of what I want to try with you today, Susie, is turning the negative thoughts into twisted into more of a positive thought. So just looking at those words, I'm not good enough. Is there any way that you can think of to twist it around to make it more positive? Maybe a reason that you think you're not good enough, or maybe your coach thinks that you could be good enough. Is there anything that you can think of?
Sometimes I don't think I'm good enough because I get nervous a lot at games.
Okay. And what makes you nervous?
I just like to make my parents and my team happy, and I just want everybody to like me, and I just want to score the goals more.
And Susie, does your coach know about your nervousness?
Yes.
Okay. So if he doesn't always pick you, do you think that maybe he knows about your nervousness and he's trying to protect you?
I guess I never really thought about it that way.
Okay. So let's twist those words around to make it a more positive thought. So instead of saying I'm not good enough, or instead of saying I get nervous, how could you reword it to say what we just said about your coach? Trying to protect you.
Maybe my coach tries to protect me because I do get nervous and he knows I want to make my team happy.
Excellent. Can you write that down for me?
Yeah.
Excellent. Great job. Now, Susie, you can do that with all of these negative thoughts. You can find ways to sort of twist them and make them a more positive thought.
Okay.
Okay? So, what I want you to try to do for me, if it's okay with you, is I'm going to assign you some homework. If you could, at the end of every day, have a journal and just write down some positives that you encountered that day or some good things that happened that day. Do you think that sounds okay?
How many things do you want me to write down?
Maybe we should aim for 2 things for now. And as we progress, we can add more to that list. Does that
Okay.
sound okay?
2 things for next time?
Mm-hmm. And then we
Okay.
can discuss them. And even if you have any negative thoughts that you have written down in your journal, and you can try this technique at home and you can twist those thoughts around to make them more positive.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah, sounds good.
Good. Well, thank you, Susie, for coming in today.
Thank you.